Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today we're going over what trade I ended up taking today, just overall market review and the trade I ended up taking. I made $0 today because the trade I ended up taking was a break even, unfortunately. And yeah, let's go over why I took it. And I'm also going to go over a manual close. So I actually manually closed this trade at my break even, which is kind of a discretionary play, but it worked out very nicely because it ended up resulting in saving me from a loss. So definitely happy with my performance on the charts. So I stayed patient, waited for my model to present itself. It presented itself, and yeah, I managed the position very well and closed it when I felt there was an actual threat to my stop loss, and it ended up rewarding me by not taking a loss. So with that in mind, let's go over what I was thinking. So overall, if we go to the higher time frame here, monthly, let's just dive in because people are not looking at this properly, I feel. Obviously loads are, but some aren't. All-time highs, right? So we push all-time highs, we open up this massive monthly gap, we come into this monthly range that we have going on here, and now we reject higher. And if you want to look at the daily time frame as well, this happens on all time frames, by the way, but on the daily, let's go over it. So as you can see, this is how the market moves, right? And the market moves like this. We range, we break out of a range, and then we start trending, right? That's literally how it moves, and that's how it's always moved. So if you even look at it here, I don't know why these candles look like this. It's just trading view bugging out. I don't know why. As you can see, ranging, break out of range, start trending, right? Cool, simple. What are we doing here? We come into this monthly gap, we take all-time highs, we range, and then we come into the monthly gap, boom. Now we're going to start trending higher again, right? Pretty simple stuff. Higher time frame, definitely bullish. We also have this huge market maker buy model that we're currently in, as we can see here, from all-time highs all the way down here to all the way back up here. We're in a clear buy model, so overall definitely higher time frame is 100% bullish without a shadow of a doubt. And yeah, overall coming into the morning, what I was looking at, we came into this, we swept out Asia session liquidity with an SMT inside of a key level. So this is like an excellent area for us to start moving higher. So obviously my condition was simply just this hourly gap. If we start to rapidly displace through this hourly gap, I could potentially see prices lower. But overall, I was definitely leaning towards and believing that we would hold this hourly gap to then make moves higher and take out this LR and take out London session liquidity, right? So with that in mind, let's go into market open and see what we end up doing. So market actually ends up opening higher here into a 15-minute fair value gap. Now, I think there was a setup that presented itself, probably like a 30-second or something, but this is definitely a no-go for me. I think it actually delivered in one candle, if I believe it or not. I think there's like right here. Yeah, boom. But like overall, this is a huge no-go for me. There is obviously that 30-minute maybe? Yeah, 30-minute gap that we have here, but overall, I'm definitely more bullish than I am bearish. And at this point, you're literally just targeting high resistance because you're targeting a low that we put in inside of a key level in a buy model in a higher time frame bullish scenario. It's just not really that great of a trade. If you did take anything here, I understand. Maybe if you had conviction, cool. Just not for me. Definitely leaning a lot more bullish here. And then this is when we start to get our bullish move. So we come out and we resweep this low here. I think we get a stop hunt. And there's just no inversion here at all. I did actually really like the idea of taking a long here, but there was no inversion. We did have a stop hunt inside of a key level with an SMT. Good targets above being the 930 high, and then obviously low resistance building up to London. So any like long within this range, in my opinion, is pretty good. But overall, the structure is also decent, but there's just no inversion, no fair value gap. And when there's no fair value gaps, it's usually a sign of bad price action. We do kind of end up chopping around a little bit, but then we do end up, like look, we come all the way back down here. And then we end up delivering eventually to that internal high here. And then from here on now, any 5-minute fair value gap or 15-minute fair value gap that we were going, even though 15 minutes don't need to be sponsored, but any 5-minute and any gap that we do open now within this new range that we are creating is a very high probable continuation gap. Why? Simple. We have manipulated it into a higher time frame key level being the 1 hour. Obviously with the whole bullish bias, higher time frame wise and lower time frame wise alignment. So then we actually have a narrative to build price off of because we have higher time frame and lower time frame alignment, and we have very good draws on liquidity with low resistance building up to it, right? So any gap from here out, here on out, like a 5 minute or a 15 minute that gets presented, is a great continuation gap and a high probability continuation gap due to the narrative that we are getting presented with, right? So I think we end up moving slightly higher here. Where did I end up taking the trade? Okay, cool. So we ended up, so this is like the first thing, this is like a super premiumed, it was like a 5 minute fair value gap, but there was a few things wrong with this. If you took this 10, 20, 1 minute, or 30-second inversion, I think it was, out of the 5 minute gap, this was a low probability trade. Reason being is because one, it's super premiumed, and two, ES, like the S&P 500 in this time was literally nowhere. So there was no true manipulation, and it was a premium gap. So this is like, you're just asking to be, your stop to get rated here. You're literally just asking for it. This was a good generation of liquidity though, towards this DOL, towards these more DOLs that we had higher. So any long now from here is a lot nicer. Why? Because we actually come into the discount of this range, and we come into we came into the discount of this range now, inside this 5 minute fair value gap, and the structure is looking better, and the manipulation is looking a lot cleaner with the stop hunt and everything. So at this point here, I was looking to take a 2 minute inversion, which ended up, this is the highest time frame key level within this leg, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so we had the highest time frame key level, or like fair value gap within this manipulation leg was this 2 minute. So I was waiting for this 2 minutes to get ran through, and then as you can see here, we get a really nice close right there. And we tested it once, failed to go lower, tested it again, failed to go lower. Reject off this little rejection block that we have here, and then there we go. We get a nice clean entry here. I think I had my stop loss right below CE, so it's around here. With this trade, I was simply just going for a 1-to-1. I ended up taking this trade right on the close, so got a pretty good fill, or just a standard fill, the fill that I should have gotten. And my take profit was just right here. Break even with that was at this internal high. And at this point as well, we also had true manipulation, because the ES ended up running into a more discounted fair value gap, being the F5 minute that I had in its leg as well. So at this point, this trade has true manipulation, higher time frame, lower time frame alignment, and narrative, good draws on liquidity, and good displacement, good structure. Can't ask for more. I would actually rate this setup A, to be honest, maybe even A+. I think this setup was super clean. I would take this setup 10 times out of 10. Very nice trade. And then as you can see, we kind of end up chopping around a bit, edging my break even, and then this is just where shit just hits the fan. We end up literally just chopping and chopping. And then I think at this time, the S&P, like, this is just so frustrating to watch. If you were in this trade, you know, super frustrating, because we're literally just chopping around, wasting time for literally no reason whatsoever. And it looked like at first that the Nasdaq was going to be the pair to actually start to distribute. But then out of nowhere, the Nasdaq just completely started to chop, and the S&P 500 ended up being the pair to distribute first. At around 10:45, we got this really clean candle on the S&P 500, displacing out of the range, and then we ended up taking my final draw on the day, which was London. As you can see here, I have London buy side, and that was also my break-even point. Because guys, this is why I manually closed, because you have to understand. I think maybe a lot of people ended up taking this and might have lost, but the thing is about this, like, you cannot let your position tool or your entry on the charts take away logic from you. Because the thing is, right, if we take out a major pool of liquidity, there was also a risk to this, by the way. This setup wasn't perfect. There was a threat to the stop loss, and that being an unfilled 15-minute fair value gap on the S&P 500, that it literally opened right here. If I have it marked out, we'll see. Yeah, perfect. As you can see here, when I was initially going to take this trade, there was an unfilled 15-minute fair value gap at the stop loss here, right? So that's already a threat to the trade. And we have been actively displacing higher the entire session. We're not just going to keep displacing higher for the entire session, right? So my final draw on liquidity for the day was London session highs. I did not really care where price went after that, and could have continued higher, could have reversed. That's all I wanted to see get hit if we were going to be bullish, because this is a great bullish draw. And as we can see, at 10:47 there, the S&P 500 ends up taking out London session highs, and then I manually closed my position once that happened. I'm up like $2 on the day, or whatever, who cares? It's nothing, it's a break-even trade. And the reason why my new break-even point was going to be here, because of how much we were chopping, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm wasting my time in this trade. This is not worth being in. And then once the S&P 500 took my draw, I didn't sit there and be like, oh, but it hasn't taken my break-even on Nasdaq. Oh, but it's too close to my entry, so I don't want to go break-even. Oh, it's just, bro, you can't think like that. Like, that is a terrible way of thinking, because it's purely just emotional. Just because price isn't in a position to where you want to close the trade, bro, the market doesn't care. It doesn't give a shit about you or your feelings or what you think or what you want, right? You have to act on logic. Always, always act on logic when you're dealing with the charts. Never, ever, ever act on emotions or disregard logic because of a position tool telling you that, oh, your entry is here, so you probably shouldn't close here or you shouldn't do this. Bro, that's not how this shit works. You cannot do that. That is how you will stay unprofitable. That is how you will lose over and over and over again, because the market just doesn't care, bro. It doesn't give a shit. It doesn't care about you. It simply just moves off of what it does, and it moves off of logic, and that's it, bro. So you can never ever disregard logic when it comes to this, or else, I mean, you're gonna get shit on every time. So always keep that in mind. So this is of course why I manually close my trade, because my every single draw that I wanted to see get taken was taken. And the Nasdaq was in complete shitland over here, as you can see. Literally just chop, 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 chop. Unfortunate is what it is. It lacked delivery. Happens, and I manually closed my trade. And what did that result in? Just to show proof, where it's like, can I even show? Oh, no, I'm not signed in to trade about. But I don't need to show proof. I'll show it. If anybody wants to see it, they can. Obviously, I manually closed my trade right here. And what happens right after this? As we take out my final draw on liquidity for today, and we've already had such a strong bullish move all the way up to that draw on liquidity, what happens? Who would have thought, right? Very, very, very obvious that there was a huge, huge, huge probable chance that we were going to end up displacing lower now for the S&P 500 to remanipulate and then decide where it wanted to go after. So once the S&P 500 took out my final draw, there was a massive threat to my stop loss. Like the threat of the unfilled 15 minute was like 10% threat to my stop loss. And then once we took that London session buy side liquidity, my final DOL for the day on ES, 80% threat to stop loss. Massive threat to stop loss. So it's very, very logical to just close position there. Even if this ran to my take profit, couldn't have cared less, because way more times than not, it is not going to do that in a situation like this. And it's just logical. So that's it. Like, very, very simple stuff. Ended up getting break even today just because we had terrible delivery here. Overall price action today was pretty poor. It wasn't good by any means necessary. But I did really, really like this setup, and it is an A-rated setup in my opinion, 100%. So I did obviously end up taking this because I would be foolish to not listen to my model. And yeah, being a bit discretionary by closing my trade and not like being silly, obviously ended up resulting in us not losing any money today. So that is perfect. And then for the rest of the session, don't really care. Didn't really do anything else. What did we do? Did we end up actually moving lower there? Or moving, okay, so we actually ended up... See, yeah, so that's the thing. Like, another huge thing as well is like we come into this 15-minute fair value gap, and then price is hesitant. Like, look at this, bro. It's crazy. So we come into this 15-minute fair value gap, price is hesitating on where it wants to go next. Like, also, this is like what I was saying about earlier, like with the ranging. We come into a key level area of where price can either get sent higher, or if we disrespect it, get sent lower. What do? We start ranging, break out of range, lower time frame starts trending lower, right? We end up rejecting off of a key level. I don't know what it is. It's probably another 15-minute, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. We actually end up inversing that 15-minute. So yeah, just shit price action overall. But as you can see, the principle still stands. Range, break out of range, move lower. So that's very, very simple there. Just pretty poor price action overall today. Yeah, actually very surprised that we did not end up moving higher here to take out this range high. So it's going to be interesting for tomorrow. I'm not really sure how I'm going to feel about price action tomorrow. But anyway, who cares? That's an issue for tomorrow, not now. But yeah, that's going to be the trade that I ended up taking today. Obviously, break-even day on the charts. So... no money was made today. Obviously saved myself from a loss by just using good discretion there and good market experience from, you know, playing these games before, you should say. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll have my Discord, Instagram, and TikTok tagged down in the bio of this video. You guys can go check them out, shoot me a follow or shoot me a DM on any one of those platforms. And I will 100% respond with any trading related content that you may have. Any questions, or even if you guys have advice for me, bro, feel free. Lay it out there. And yeah, except for that, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow. So peace out, and yeah.